We know a window cleaning robot like this, about 350 PLN, beats the usual cheapest Chinese unit you can grab for about 100-150 PLN. Is it worth paying around 200-250 PLN more for something better? Now we compare two popular models. One from the mid-range, the other higher end, for shopping from China. We will compare how sets look, how cleaning is done, and whether there are differences in results, and if so, what they are indeed. I tested both robots under the same conditions, on windows, in the shower, and on a frameless mirror. I checked how they work, whether you can really trust them not to detach from glass, how much noise they make, and above all, whether they leave smudges. At last, a recap with links and discount codes, and you pick the model and whether a robot makes sense at home. So let's get on with it. We'll start briefly with ABIR WD8. This isn't just another Chinese guy from one of 50 firms who has 2 rotating plates and can't even reach the edge. Here we have an option to control it via an app, a rectangular design that cleans better, and a double sprayer, so we don't have to pre-wet the windows ourselves. In the kit, we have the robot itself, the remote, a long cabled power supply connected to the robot, a safety tether to stop it dropping a few floors if it fails, and 10 pads we can swap. And since with the ABIR WD8 we do not spray pads ourselves, because that would lessen the chance of proper adhesion to the window, we could cause far more damage. Okay, we'll start it up and you can hear the volume at around 66 dB. I checked it myself. There's no disaster. The volume is quieter than the base models, but it's still not great. As you can see, it handles all tested surfaces and doesn't drop during use. Even if power fails, it stays on the windscreen for 40 minutes. Sometimes it leaves small streaks, and on a frameless mirror it can nick itself. It won't fall off, it just yells to be mounted again. Overall, for cleaning windows, I wouldn't recommend the cheapest models from AliExpress, Steam, or other sites, and I think the entry-level option is the ABIR WD8 at about 300-350 ZW. So there's no point going cheaper, you'll just be disappointed with the results, and after all we buy such a robot to help around the house, not to add more work. The question of how things stand with the model that costs around 250 ZW is simply that it is the WD9 successor to the WD8. From the bare specifications, we do not have 2 spray nozzles. Instead, there are 2 double spray nozzles that are meant to wet the windows even better. Additionally, the water or fluid tanks are conveniently accessible, and we have 2 of them as well. In case of a fault, we can also remove the old windscreen washer nozzles without tools and fit new ones, which is a handy option, because I know that in the WD8, the previous model, people often complained that one nozzle didn't work. So what do you do then? Well, you simply buy a new robot. Here, for just a few, perhaps a dozen zlotys, we'll order the missing part and replace it, because it's only a small plug that you simply plug in, and that's that. Build quality has improved. Force is up to 9,000 pascals and edge detection, so on the same mirror I had no problems. The kit is similar, so we'll skip it and focus on the main differences. The workmanship is a touch better. The robot seems sturdier and less like a cheap toy. What's new are the squeegees beside the tracks, which prevent drips and streaks. It's a very simple thing, but it works effectively. The cleaning methods also perform better. We have 5 modes here, though the truth is that it's best to run it on automatic and have peace of mind. If we have large windows or bigger stains in a specific area, we can switch to manual mode and drive the robot ourselves, whether from the remote or the app. The manufacturer also boasts that the WD9 is smarter, more intelligent, and has a newer AI system than the predecessor, but I must admit I see no difference. I think it drives as well and as wisely, but then that Chinese man wouldn't lie to us, right? The rest are basically the same. Operate on different surfaces including tiles with a built-in UPS that keeps the robot running for 40 minutes during a power cut. There are voice prompts and control by remote or an app. The same movement system and cloths mounted the same way, though they differ in shape. When ordering new cloths, avoid mixing up the model. I also checked the noise level during operation. It's about 5 dB quieter. I know that may not sound like a big difference to you, but it is quieter. In short, the ABIR WD9 is a better, more reliable robot, and its results are better. Still, neither can fully replace hand washing, but if there are many hard-to-reach windows, it can be a handy option for both cheaper and pricier models. The cloths can be adjusted depending on how many windows there are and how dirty they are. If results are average, switch the cleaning mode after a few visits, and meanwhile tidy other areas of the house or flat. Still, WD9 isn't better in every respect than its predecessor, as it is bigger and heavier. On one hand, it's fine because it can clean faster and more accurately, but on the other hand, if you really have very narrow windows, then the robot won't be able to drive. Unfortunately, that's the case for me, and I checked it with the manufacturer. The minimum window size is 50 by 50 centimeters, so if you have a window that's simply narrower, as you can see now in the cutaways, the robot, instead of driving, will start banging into the edges and then cry out that it needs to be taken off because something's not right. So, if you have small windows, or rather narrow ones, there's only the WD8 option left, because WD9 won't run on them either. I ordered both models, of course, from AliExpress, where with links and coupons you can get them for 350 zlotys if we're talking about the cheaper WD8, and just under 600 zlotys for the newer model. And it's this price difference that makes me not know whether I would recommend WD9 to everyone. Yes, indeed, if you truly have many large windows and want these effects as good as they can be, then WD9 makes sense. WD8 will do about 80% of the same job just as well, so is paying extra 200 to 250 zlotys worth it for most people? Just that, to be a little better, and not by much. I'll leave those decisions to you, but it's worth bearing in mind that such a robot will pay for itself and be worth it for you if you use it often in the long run. So if you plan to run window washing 2 or 3 times a year, it's simply not worth it, because both cleaning robots and window cleaning bots share one key trait. The more you use them, the more it pays off for you. But as always, I'll leave the final decision to you, so please tell me in the comments what you think about this model and which of the two you'd pick, or whether you'll simply stick with a cloth after all.